In high-level Generation 1 overused, games often conclude in rapid, one-sided knockouts. A single Pokémon removes the opponent's remaining roster in a few decisive turns. These targets are the defining pillars of the 1998 metagame: Alakazam, Snorlax, and Chansey. They're typically difficult to OHKO, yet here they fall in succession. This result is an outlier in standard Gen 1 logic. Victreebel has a poor defensive typing and mediocre bolt. It is easily threatened by almost every other staple in the tier. This sweep occurs when a player successfully manages specific board variables turns in advance, creating a window where Victreebel's offensive power can finally outweigh its fragility. Victreebel's average speed means it cannot outrun fast psychic-type leads. Its poison and grass typing takes double damage from ice, psychic, and flying moves. In practice, a Tauros Spinizard followed by Hyper Beam will knock out Victreebel almost every time. There is also a lack of consistency in its move pool. Wrap and Sleep Powder, Razor Leaf, and Hyper Beam all have imperfect accuracy, meaning a well-positioned Victreebel can fail due to a single missed roll. Since Victreebel cannot survive direct hits or rely on guaranteed accuracy, a player must systematically mitigate these risks before it becomes a win condition. Solving for the sweep begins before the match starts, during the team-building phase, where the player must navigate a specific mechanical constraint. In Generation 1, using an evolution stone immediately stops a Pokémon from learning new moves via level up. This requires a specific timeline. Bellsprout evolves at level 21, but if the Leaf Stone is used immediately, Victreebel never learns its best attack. The player must delay evolution until level 38 to learn Razor Leaf. Only then is the stone applied. Razor Leaf is mandatory for the overused tier. Its high critical hit rate lets Victreebel ignore Slowbro's amnesia boosts and reliably OHKO a full health Rhydon. Preparing for an endgame sweep requires this deliberate delay, prioritizing a high-impact move over an early increase in base stats. During the match, Victreebel cannot be deployed while its hard counters are still healthy. Gengar is the most significant obstacle. It takes no damage from Wrap or Hyper Beam and can retaliate by putting Victreebel to sleep or using Nightshade to quickly chip away its low HP. Zapdos is the secondary counter. It resists Razor Leaf and outspeeds Victreebel, threatening a KO with Drill Peck. Team building must account for these. A partner like Rhydon is often required to block Zapdos and force it out of the active slot. Additionally, Starmie is frequently used alongside Victreebel to pressure Chansey and spread status effects during the midgame. Victreebel is an endgame specialist. If Gengar and Zapdos remain on the board, the player lacks the safety needed to start a sweep. The final board state requirement is speed control. To compensate for its middling speed, the player must paralyze fast threats, like Alakazam and Starmie. Since Victreebel is easily neutralized by paralysis itself, it relies on its teammates to spread status first. Against a slower opponent, Wrap becomes a momentum control tool, forcing a two-branch decision. If they stay in, they take risk-free chip damage while immobilized. If they switch to Zapdos, it is caught by Wrap, granting Victreebel a free switch to Rhydon. Wrap allows Victreebel to dictate the matchups. It forces the opponent to either take constant chip damage or concede a free switch to a counter. When the board is clear, fast threats are paralyzed and hard counters are gone, Victreebel can transition into its final role. The win condition often involves the Swords Dance set. Victreebel uses Sleep Powder to incapacitate the opponent, providing a turn to boost its attack stat. This setup is high risk. Success depends on a 75% accuracy roll for Sleep Powder. If it connects, Victreebel can use Swords Dance to reach +2 attack. At this level of power, Hyper Beam becomes a guaranteed knockout against Alakazam and Jinx. Even at +2, the matchup against Chansey remains an odds dame. A Hyper Beam only has a 17.9% chance to KO a full health Chansey in one hit. Some players choose Stun Spore instead of Sleep Powder. This ignores Sleep Claws and allows Victreebel to paralyze incoming threats like Tauros during the endgame. Once these setup conditions are met, Victreebel's offensive output creates immense pressure, forcing the opponent to rely on lucky misses to survive. Achieving a sweep with Victreebel requires a high volume of preparation, delaying of evolution, removing hard counters, and spreading paralysis. When these conditions are managed correctly, they create a scenario where the opponent's options are restricted and the sweep becomes the most likely outcome. Victreebel is not a Pokémon that can win through raw power alone. Without support, it is easily removed by the tier's common threats. It remains a test of a player's ability to manage probability and board states, a fragile Pokémon that rewards precise play with a decisive late-game win.